Hello, Coach Jim. Hello, Quinn. Good morning. We can start with the Phillies press conference.
One ideas. Want us to identify for Jim, Andre Blake was not out on the field today. What is his status?
Yeah, unfortunately, Andre will miss tomorrow's test. It still doesn't feel 100%. We want to be smart with the injury. Andre knows his body as well as anybody, has been through these types of games and knows what they need, and he's just not able to participate. Obviously, we'll miss him. He's the best goalkeeper in MLS. But Oliver has now a game under his belt, a little more confidence, and I know he'll step in and do a great job for us.
Kelly was out there with what looked like first team.
Yeah, which is good. Jack is back fully training now. He'll play a big role in tomorrow's game for sure. Obviously, with the busy stretch of games, you want to have as many healthy bodies that have been through, the battles of Champions Cup and the battles of the MLS schedule. So we're just getting started this year. Have had some good moments in both games. Some really good performances for stretches, but now we want to put together a complete 90 minutes against the good Saprissa team.
When you look at an injury like Andres, is there any difference in how you handle it at this early juncture of the season versus how maybe if this is August, if it's warmer, if he's in the groove, something like this, maybe is there any difference in that?
Yeah, I think, look, anytime there's an injury early in the season, you're going to learn about the guys as a whole. So just collectively now as a team defensively, how do we work with Oliver? How do we try to help him? How do we limit chances? How do we limit balls in the box to make his first couple games as simple as possible? It's a hard position, and I talked about it with Oliver the other day. A goalkeeper cannot be involved for 88 minutes and then has to, make a big save. And he did that at the end of the game, which was a big one against Barlow. So I think after that, you get a little more confidence. Unfortunately, in the run of play in the Chicago game, just the way it was, there wasn't a lot of chances. He didn't have to be involved in a ton of crosses or make a lot of saves from distance or anything like that. So there was no real easing into it. It was obviously a great shot from Gutierrez. And then, the against the run of play in the second half, the goal kind of comes. So overall, still made a big save for us. And again, we're confident that he'll do a good job. But yeah, you're right. When it's early in the season, you get to learn more about your group as a whole. And it's good to learn things early in the year because there's a lot of games ahead of us now.
Yeah. Quinn, 6 games in 25 days to start the season. The 8 you guys win tomorrow. Advance. I'm sure it's easy for you as one of the younger players, some of the older guys. But how do you manage that big a load to start the year?
Yeah, look, we had a lot of games last year as well. I think also with a short preseason, the team came in super fit straight from the start. We had a really good preseason, and then three games back to back here. So, we're ready for tomorrow. I think, you look at the bigger picture. We have a pretty, big group with a lot of depth. So, I think the team's confident in putting a team out there that can get the job done. But yeah, I think that, we're confident in all our players, and, heading into this game is the most important right now. But obviously looking forward, I think it's important to stay fit and stay, get the treatments that you need. And stay prepared for the next games.
Jim, I think that first.
Coach here.
How are you?
Hi.
My name is Javier. I come from Costa Rica.
Welcome.
Nice to meet you. Nice to talk to you. Thank you so much. I want to know, what do you think about tomorrow's game, about Saprissa, about the possibilities to win this match in Costa Rica? A lot of people think that you already have won the series.
Yeah.
I want your opinion about the game, about the rival, for both of you.
Yeah. Well, first of all, welcome to Philadelphia. Look, it's halftime. You know what I mean? If you understand it, it's only halftime right now, and I've told that to our players. So there still is a lot to play for. 90 minutes, anything can happen. We set ourselves up in a good position for sure, scoring 3 away goals. But we conceded that second goal late, and now that makes it a little bit more difficult. So Saprissa is champion of Costa Rica. They know how to play in these games. We had a very hostile, tough environment to play in Saprissa. The first half, to be honest, they should have scored 3 or 4 goals. So that's what I've warned my players. This team is more than capable of scoring multiple goals and doing the same thing to us that we did there. So we respect them a great deal. It's a great opponent. It's a difficult match, and it's a brand new 90 minutes, and we're only at halftime. So there's still a lot of work to do. We will put a very strong team on the field to try to get a result. The good thing is both teams are on the same amount of rest. They're in a difficult stretch as well, having played on Saturday in a tough game as well, just like we had. They have a little bit more games under their belt in terms of the season that they've been in, but I really like where my group is at fitness wise, and we've gotten stronger as each game's going on. So to answer your question, we respect them a great deal, and by no means are we already through. We don't look ahead. We only look at tomorrow's match against Saprissa, who's a very good team.
Want to answer this?
Oh yeah. Similar to what Coach said, we understand that the series is by no means over. It was a really good test down in Costa Rica. We saw that they can create in the attacking side, and they're also pretty sound in the defensive side as well, as we saw in the first half. We were able to break them down in the second half a little bit, and we're going to look to do that in this game as well. But we definitely understand that, this is a 2-leg series for a reason. We're confident at home. We're confident with the fans at our back, but we know that the series is by no means over.
Jim, I think so. If we count the goals that were disallowed against Chicago, you guys have 7 from open play in the first 2 games, and that was maybe a little bit of a challenge last year.
Yeah,
is that that seems like a good start for you guys? Anything that you think goes into that this early in the season?
Yeah, Matt. After the Chicago game, I said it to the group. It was the first comment that I had. If you think back, even the preseason games included, the goals that we score, and if you think about them, there's 4 or 5 great passes. I'll use the Chicago goal as an example. It's Quinn with an outside of the right foot ball to Ali Bedoya, who plays on the run with the guy on his back, a perfect layoff to Jose, who hits an amazing cross first time to Daniel, who has a really hard header to still put in the back of the net. And you go, geez, we work so hard and make so many great plays to score goals. And now when you flip it and you look at the goals we concede and you start to go through them, you go, you just don't have a feeling of, you don't tip your cap and say, wow, we got broken down on that play with a really great goal. I think if you look at the preseason, some of the goals we conceded, if you look at now, the Saprissa goal, obviously, we won't have many 50-yard own goals from midfield, hopefully this year. And the second goal, even in Saprissa, was a little bit where we had 4 or 5 guys that could have done better on the play. And then the Chicago goals kind of from nothing against the run of play a little bit too. So the message is, yes, it's great that we score these goals, but let's not concede in the ways that we do. And that's not just the defenders and goalkeeping. That's the whole group. Our foundation is still defense. We get our chances based on how hard we're willing to defend. And certainly getting back to keeping clean sheets is a real recipe for success, not only in this league, but in elimination tournaments where you have home and away goals matter as much as they do. So it's certainly something on our radar. But we've scored some beautiful goals, man. Really, really good goals, which is good to see. It shows that we're in a good rhythm there. But now let's really tighten it up defensively and not concede so easily.
Now we're going to take a couple of questions from the media that have joined us virtually. Please, Leo, Sandy, go ahead.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Coach, good morning for you, for all in the room. I just wanted to know if you expect something different from Saprissa for this match, because they now not have the advantage to be at home. They go to the Super Park, to your home. Do you expect something different, or in base of that you study Saprissa, do you think it's going to be the same that the last Tuesday? And for Sullivan, I wanted to know if, because the strikers of Saprissa, they're not on fire right now. They don't score a lot in this moment. Do you think this is going to be advantage for you, or it could be more dangerous because they are hungry? They want to score. because they needed also Saprissa need the result of two goals advantage against you. Thank you.
Yeah, I'll take the first part. Look, both teams, Saprissa and the Philadelphia Union, have an incredible home field advantage. Some of the best on this whole continent. So, in this building, we're a very difficult team, just like they're a very difficult team there. The reality is they, at a certain point, will have to push and throw numbers forward. So we have to be very sound defensively, but also the one thing we do very well is counterattack and go in transition. So we have to be ruthless. Sometimes the best defense for us is to score the first goal. That would really change everything. And if we are able to score, now they have to take more risk and throw more numbers forward. So it'll be a very interesting tactical game. We did notice too, Saprissa played in a back three for the first time this season in their last league game. So that's something that we've talked about and discussed. I noticed Mr. Kendall Austin is on the bench as well now, and is certainly a guy on restarts if he's in the game late. Even as an attacking guy, you can throw him forward because he's so dangerous and is such a presence on restarts. So there's a lot of things that they can do tactically to hurt us. They can take risk. So we have to be a team that, in America, we say bend, but don't break, so we have to be very sound defensively, and really be ruthless on the counterattack, even in our own buildings where we know that they're going to take risks.
Yeah. To talk about the second part of that, we know, Saprissa is going to be hungry as a team. Obviously their strikers are going to be hungry as well. I'm not familiar with, how hot they are, in terms of form, but, we know that they need to score goals. And like Coach said, there's advantages and disadvantages to that for us. If we're sound defensively and we're a unit, we might be able to hit them on transition, and get that first goal early. But at some point they are going to have to push and try and score. They need 2 goals to advance, over us. So, they're certainly going to be hungry. But, I think we're prepared as a team to work defensively together and stop them from scoring, and then hopefully be able to, create on the attack as well.
D.C.Jamir Gomez, please go ahead.
Hi, good morning, Coach and Queen. I wanna ask a question to each one. First of all, to the coach. Coach, Saprissa is very popular for his comebacks in important series on international events. Besides taking care of the sports situation, how you handle an emotional, inspirational moment from Saprissa in tomorrow's game? And to Sullivan, seeing Saprissa's level, if you transfer Saprissa to the MLS, do you think he will compete for the championship title? Thank you very much.
Well, that one will get you in trouble. Careful on that one. I've learned that. Look, I would say that, Saprissa is a great club with a lot of history. Like you mentioned, they've been in the Champions Cup games and have gone as far as anyone and have won big games. So like you said, we are only at halftime. This is just the start of the series. Anything can happen in the 90 minutes. So we need to be very disciplined. We need to be intense. We need to execute and do our job. So again, by no means is this series over. They have a history of coming from behind, home or away, and it's a dangerous opponent with a lot of talent, a lot of familiar talent in MLS. A lot of the guys that have experience playing against our roster, a lot of guys that we've prepared for in the past when they played for, the Columbus Crew, D.C. United, Charlotte, Vancouver, whatever it is. They've been all in our league, Portland as well. They have a ton of experience. They know our team, and they have a lot of winners on their team. They're the champion for a reason of Costa Rica, and we know that it's going to be very, very difficult.
Yeah, listen, CONCACAF Champions Cup and the whole league are 2 very different competitions, right? We know that this is a two-leg draw. We know that Saprissa's, like I said earlier, a really good team. We're not, we're confident in our ability at home. But as far as, they gave us a challenge down in Costa Rica, as far as how they perform to win the entire league, I couldn't really say because, they aren't in the league. So I would say that they are a very good team, but as far as competing for a championship in MLS, I would have no measurement for you for that.
The bars, the bar rooms, and if you put an MLS team in League 2 France, or you put a Costa Rican team in MLS, there are always great arguments, but unfortunately we'll never know the answer.
last question, please. Jose Nunez, go ahead.
Hey, Jim and Quinn, thank you for your time. Quinn, I'd love to hear from you as a young player. How do you mentally prepare for such a quick turnaround against the same opponent? Obviously, Jim talks about and really the preparation physically, but mentally for you, how do you prepare for that? And Jim, I'm sorry if this has been reported somewhere else. I just haven't gotten a chance to read, but did Julian change his pledge of his allegiance nationally? I saw he was listed as representing or from Italy on CONCACAF's roster for the last Saprissa match. Thank you.
Me to go first.
Yeah,
go. Listen, I think even as a young player, I've had experience with the Champions League or Champions Cup now, but the Champions League, I think that I'm prepared for the quick turnaround, and we know what it's like to play a team in such quick succession. It's also good because we know how they play, and it's fresh in the team's mind. And obviously, there's going to be some changes here and there to their style, and whether they push, whether they sit, whatever. But I think mentally, I think the team's prepared. I think individually, I'm prepared to go back out there and try and take care of business at home.
Yeah, and as far as Julian's citizenship, I'll let him speak for that and where his allegiances lie. Obviously, if you're talking about national team type stuff, two really tough national teams to get into. Certainly a talented enough player to do so. So again, I'll let him speak on where his allegiances lie and not talk out of turn here.
Thank you very much, Coach Jim. Thank you very much, Quinn. Thank you, everybody here.